As you can see, it's begun. Fall is in the air and the leaves are starting to turn. Let's go for a tour of my woodland garden. This little opening in the pines is what takes us to what I refer to as my woodland garden. So as we walk through here, you kind of get the feeling of being in the woods. I do have some Black Hills spruce here, and a white pine and some sumac. And I let it grow as wild and native as possible because I just love the way that it feels, having just a little piece of my property that has a woodland on it. Sumac is in full color. We are at the last week of September. It's absolutely gorgeous. So it's kind of nice to take a walk through the woodland garden. So I created this area last year, and to see kind of what it's like to walk through this canopy of very colorful leaves. This is on a hill. It's all sandy. It's really, really bad soil. Planted the sumac in here because the soil was so bad. Look at the colors on these leaves. Just absolutely glorious. It's got all the colors just in that little leaf section. Just got done getting an 1.5 inches of rain. First time it's rained in 6 weeks, so I'm very thankful. This little area has a lot of different trees in it that we've put in here over the years. We have some kind of surprising things going on as well. So this dead looking plant is my fern, which will probably be just fine. They go into dormancy when they don't get enough water to survive, and then they come back the following year. So it should be just fine. Kind of cool to be in the canopy. Looks just gorgeous. Look at the colors. So the understory is planted with all kinds of daffodils, which are all deer and bunny resistant. I do have some hostas I put in here, and I had an extensive deer pressure. I didn't come in with the deer away often enough, and I'll have to do a better job next year, but I have some plants that are still alive. And even though I didn't do a real good job, you can see that's a little itty bitty hosta in there. They're alive. I'll just have to wait until next year and do a better job with deer patrol. I'll try to piece in some spring shots of the daffodils to show what this looked like in the spring. Here I have some Dutch iris, and in my nursery I have some other Dutch iris I found that I'll have to tuck in here so they're all together. And there's an odd weed here or there that needs to come out. And there's that Empress hosta that has survived all the attacks of the deer. I'll have to come spray again today. Here's another shot of the sumac just from the back side, so I'm standing on the hill looking down. If you can hear, the poplars are rustling just crazy. They're flapping in the wind. It's a pretty warm day. It's in the 70s, which is amazing for this time of year, end of September. So tucked on the hill here, we have obviously the sumac, but we also have these maples that I've planted years ago. And because the soil was so bad, they've hardly grown at all. I got some dead branching I'll have to cut out. But a couple of them are starting to thrive and head upward, like this one here. And then outside of there you can see that poplar tree, which is just massive. I'll see again if I have some spring footage to overlap this. Here's another maple tree here. That's the dark green one. And that one's really doing a nice job. It's above the sumac canopy, reaching for the light, so that one's doing quite well. Here on top of the hill I've got a white pine. You can see all the orange needles. This is the normal time of year where they shed. So the old leaves will, or the old nettles will fall off. This whole scene certainly makes me think of Thanksgiving. It makes me think of going to my grandmother's house when I was a kid. So this tree right here is a honey locust, and it's got a funny story. You can see the branches above it are all dead looking. But it started to grow again from the ground, which I was really happy about. We're probably going to cut it off and then we're going to let it come from that location. This is a wild tree that volunteered, and I don't know what it is, but I like the looks of the leaves in contrast, so I'm going to leave it. And this guy here, I believe, is a juniper. This volunteered, so I'm not quite sure what it is. It could be a cypress, this little one. It's grown like 3 feet in the last year, so it's doing really well. Yeah, anybody that knows what this tree is, please leave me a comment if they think it's a cypress. I just am not sure what it is, but I really like it. This little spruce tree is a sun-kissed spruce or something like that, and it's got a really funny story. My daughter picked it out when it was only a foot tall, and we planted it, and we moved it 3 times, so it was not happy. So we put it on the hill here, what we call Davy Jones' locker, which is where we set plants that if they survive, they survive, and it survived. This little spruce tree has 3 central leaders instead of 1 because of how many times we moved it and died back. So we're calling it a tree for, it is only 4 feet tall after 13 years because we abused it. This bright red vine is called Virginia creeper, and it's really in its full glory right now, growing up this white pine, white spruce, going up this Black Hill spruce. Other trees I have on the top of the hill are white birch. This is the only one that survived because this is such an awful sandy hill to grow in. And then of course I have some sumac that kind of self-seeded, or it runs by rhizomes, and the white pine. So as we keep walking through this area, gives you the feeling of walking through the woods. As we turn the corner, we see the sumac again. And is this a beautiful picture or what? Look at all the green mixed with the sumac colors. It's just absolutely gorgeous. How can you not love sumac? I got the original sumac, 5 little pieces or 5 little trees, they're very little, from my dad about a decade ago. And he said, "What in the world do you want that for?" I said, "Because my hill's got erosion problems." But he thought I was nuts. But I love it. Isn't it beautiful? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? I think it's gorgeous. If this video is helpful, give us a thumbs up so YouTube knows to share this content with others. Also consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my great videos. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.